You need that. You're gonna need it because we can't get you on this live stream.
And we don't get water because we got a new TV.
I call this workshop of November 13, 2017 to order. May we please stand for the invocation led by Commissioner Mervin, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Father, in the name of Jesus, God, we come before you again, God, to say thank you. Thank you, oh God, for bringing us up to this point of this day, God. God, we're here, oh God, to do the official business of the city. Father God, as we do, God, we ask you, God, for your direction. God, we ask you, God, for your leading. Oh God, we ask you, oh God, to let us be able, God, to discuss the city of the business and be agreeable, if we're not agreeable, God, but just to agree in love, oh God, and with respect for each other. And God, we give your name the praise and honor in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Babb,
Present.
Vice Mayor Holmes,
Present.
Commissioner Hill, Commissioner Mervin,
President.
Commissioner Walker, City Manager,
Here.
City Attorney,
Present.
Lieutenant Piccolo,
Here.
Acting City Clerk, present.
Thank you, City Clerk. Thank you, staff. Thank you, Commissioners. The topic of our workshop is our agenda. We're going to turn this portion over to our City Manager to guide us in the topic.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, City of Pahokee residents, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Certainly a good night to be out here on a Monday. It's kind of odd for us to be here, but we got work to do, so we're here. Tonight we have a very short agenda. We have one ordinance that involves the city clerk supervision regarding a particular ordinance, and we have 3 resolutions. And of course, we have one presentation. I think we're going to add one as well tonight, Mayor, as you mentioned. But one presentation from Pahokee High School football team, and the city manager's report, mayor's report, and the city attorney's report. If it pleases the commission at this time, I just want to take liberty for about 5 or 10 minutes. If you are aware, we do have a renovated commission chamber now. You can actually hear us up here. I think that's much better than what we've had before in this chamber. I want to take this liberty right now just to get you familiarized with some of the technology that you have in here now. It's some of the state of the art, ahead of the curve, you could say, with a lot of commission chambers that you will find yourselves in or have been able to walk into. So at this time, I want to call up Darren Doherty. He is the developer and designer of this technology and installer, should I say, for this technology. Darren, come on up and give us an update on all of the technology that we have here in this chamber now.
Thank you. Good evening. Can everyone hear me? First of all, I'd like to thank the City of Pahokee for allowing us the opportunity to perform this job for you. And this job is actually in twofold. It's one, to provide the city leadership with a platform to be able to get their information known to the public in a more efficient manner. And 2, for you, the residents, to be able to have better quality content. And I believe with the small steps that we've made in the past 2 weeks since your last meeting, you can see some improvements in the chamber and what we're installing here for you. I design government systems for a living, and we've had the privilege to come and design this system for you, the citizens. And I can say to you, out of the 39 municipalities in Palm Beach County, you are basically tied with the city of Lake Worth as having the best production system in Palm Beach County, hands down. And as far as I know, and I haven't been to every city, every municipality's TV production suite to see everything that they're using, I'm very confident that you're in the top 5 or 10 in the state of Florida as far as your quality is concerned. We have brand new cameras here. We have 3 cameras, 2 in the rear, 1 in the front. These are 1080 HD cameras, and as you know right now, 1080 is the flagship for any kind of home viewing, home broadcast. And beyond that, the technology that we installed in the back can actually give you the ability to stream in 4K as well. And we all have seen 4K televisions, and they haven't become commonplace yet, but once they do, this city is prepared to start streaming in 4K as well, because we've already put the infrastructure in place for that to happen. So for a city that has been basically untapped, that has been basically pushed to the wayside by news media and other organizations, you now have the ability to tell your story in your own words. One of the things that I pride myself on is the ability for us to be able to stream these events live. And a few of you had asked me, are we streaming live tonight? And we're working on putting together a great on-demand platform for the city. But tonight we are streaming live on our page, which is Prime Star Digital Network on Facebook. We are streaming live, and the reason we're streaming live there is we are testing this system for the first time. So we were not going to just publicly say to people that we're streaming live, because we're actually beta testing. We're looking at our strengths, our weaknesses, what we can do better, because by no stretch of the imagination is this job considered to be finished, because we have to look at what we've done and actually figure out how to make it the best it possibly can be. So we appreciate you, the city, for allowing us to come in to do this. We appreciate Mayor Babb, City Manager, Mr. Williamson. If it wasn't for those two, I wouldn't be standing here, because it was almost like an accident that I actually met you guys. And you all put the trust in our company to come in and deliver a quality system for you, and we have done that. And being that I was the person that was 100% in charge of designing the system, I'm very proud of the fact that everything that I put into this chamber is top quality. Everything, every piece of equipment, every amplifier, every microphone. I did not want to take this city and just try to put in substandard equipment. You have top quality equipment in this chamber that I am very, very proud to say that I designed, I installed, and I'm confident you're gonna get years and years of enjoyment out of it, because everything you have in here is all top of the line. I spared no expense on anything, because why? I wanted to give you, a city who has been really played by the media, the ability to be able to have your own voice, to be able to tell your story your way. Beyond what we can do here in this chamber, we have the ability now to broadcast remotely. So whenever you have city events, the state of the city, whenever you have your sports games, any kind of games, any kind of activities outside of this building, we can now take our broadcasting server and go to those locations and be able to stream that information live to the people, because quite frankly, we live busy lives and everyone can't attend everything all the time. But if you're at work and you can simply push a couple of buttons on your phone to tune in and be a part of something, it makes you more appreciative of the city that you live in, because now you see that there is more transparency and you can always be a part of the things that are happening. So again, we want to say thank you very much for trusting us. As you look around, you know, this is a great looking job, and a lot of you folks came in and said that, and that makes us very, very proud to hear that. And when we hear that, it reinforces to us that we did you right. And we expected to hear those things, because why? We know we put in the best equipment and we gave this city something they could really, really be proud of. Thank you very much.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Prime Star Digital Network.
Right.
Any questions for me?
In the future, how would residents tie into the live stream? Would there be a link on the website that they would click on, or how would that work in the future?
If the city commission and the city manager allow me to design it wholeheartedly, I will do a few things. Tonight, I am recording locally, which means that there will be a 1080 HD backup copy. In the future, we will not only do that, but we will be streaming to YouTube live. We will be streaming to the city's website live. And the reason we go to YouTube is because on the playback for YouTube, there is something very important called closed captioning. And then that gives our hearing impaired citizens the ability to still take part in what we do here as a community because they live here too. And they have every right to be able to participate in any kind of programming that we are producing. So I understand the law very well of technology and television to where going there as a alternative, and we can put that link on the website as well. For hearing impaired, they can simply click onto that particular link and be able to just turn on their closed captioning and read it across the screen. And that actually make the community feel better because we're really trying to say, how do we make sure that we include everybody, no matter what your background is or no matter what your health status is. We want to make sure that you're able to enjoy the actual events. So yes, the home page of the city website, and the reason why I say the home page is because if you're sitting here and you tell someone, hey, you know, we're going to be going live in 15 minutes, and they're in the grocery store shopping, they don't want to pull their phone out and have to start searching through pages to try to figure out where this video player is at. If it's residing on the home page, the live TV player, bam, they can find it easily. They can join the broadcast much faster. They can now be more engaged. But when the broadcast is over and we populate it to what we call the on-demand network, obviously then you want to go to the city commission page and then be able to look up those commission meetings by date. And you can look at the audio, the video, and then you can be able to download the actual PDF of the agenda. So therefore, there's total transparency within the community. So therefore, anything you feel you missed out on, you can always go there, and you're not putting the additional burden on city clerk by saying, I would like to request this or request that, because now it's there, and you can have it in audio, you can have it in video, and you can actually have the actual PDFs of the actual agendas as well. Does that make sense? Does that? Any other questions?
Again, thank
Thank
you, and we certainly, Carl.
Every manufacturer is different. So basically, when you say the system, there is no such thing as a warranty on the system because one company didn't make everything. So basically, your amplifier has its manufacturer's warranty. You know, your mixer has its manufacturer's warranty. Typically, what we do for municipalities when it comes to warranting our work, we'll come in for 6 months and fix anything and everything at no additional cost. Beyond that, we will always come in and service things, and if you say, hey, you know, we want to upgrade this, we want to repair that, you know, can you come in and help us out? We always do that. And like, for example, today, there was a municipality that I walked into to go return something because we had a big event over the weekend, and a person in the hallway said, hey, you know, the audio in the chamber isn't working. Well, I just went in there and fixed it. Will they get a bill from me? No. The system has been in place since, I think, February or March. Their 6 months is up. But the reason why I still fix it is because I live here too. And I know that if I take care of you, I'll always be a resource for you. I'll always be called. You know, a slow quarter is faster or better than a quick dollar. It lasts longer. So if we take care of you and we treat you right, we'll always be that resource. So although we state 6 months for our labor as far as guaranteeing everything is going to work, we always come in beyond that because we want to make sure that everything works. And the main reason we do that, the nuts and bolts of the main reason is because we understand city municipalities, for the most part, do not have people on staff that understand what we understand. I personally have 35 years of AV experience, and that isn't very easy to have. So when something may be not working correctly and you've spent 2 or 3 hours trying to resolve it, to me, I may look at it in 5 minutes and say, well, here's what the problem is. So when I realize that you don't have those resources, I always lend my hand because I know what it's like to be in a position where I'm frustrated, I can't solve something, and I just wish somebody would just come in and say, well, that's the problem right there. So we try to give that same kind of service with our clients because we realize that sometimes they may not have the same level of skill set as we may have. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, thank you.
In addition to that, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commission, what we will be also doing is we'll be going out to the high school and we'll be petitioning the principal to provide us additional students. We want to create a mentoring program or a training program for high school students who are interested in audio, visual, and recording. And they'll come into this chamber. They'll be trained by this organization to help run this this equipment on each commission night. And so you'll see high school students in here as well, working with him behind that desk. He has his staff with him tonight, but we hope to have some high school students in here as well to learn more about how to operate this equipment, and hopefully that turns into some type of career, maybe down the line going to college or something like that. So we think that's important. It's a very simple system, yet very complicated. The great thing about it is you don't have to do any more DVD ordering from the city, hopefully, so that'll save our citizens $5 in getting those DVDs, because they can go on the website and just click the last date of the commission meeting and watch it at leisure. And we're going to add a couple more things to this system that's kind of unique. We don't know how much it's going to cost yet, but there's something that's very unique about a couple of systems I've seen in other commission meetings around the country that'll help you as a citizen or as a resident follow the agenda more carefully, or find exactly in the video recording where you can read the agenda. So if you're on page 15 of the agenda and there's something on page 15 that you want to hear from that commission meeting, you should be able to click on that page and get that exact audio recording at that time when they discuss it on the agenda. That's very unique. But more so, we are ahead of the curve technology-wise in this chamber now. It provides, live streaming. It provides the right information, and I'm all for the right information getting out to this community. We've had some distorted information leaving this chamber. Not going to have that anymore, because the facts will be on the record, and that's what we want. But more so, we want to have the ability to promote this community beyond this commission meeting. Meaning when we have football games, parades, any other event, and they show up and you're at work, you can hit a button and watch that event. You can see your grandchild, or you can see your daughter, your son, or your family at that event, or you can see us at an event. That's important, because you can find that in a lot of other cities, but we just didn't have it here. So when we have our Saturday football games, City League football games, you'll see those games on live streaming, and that's what we're trying to do, bring our activities in the city to the community without you leaving your living room, and that's important. He said he spared no expense. It wasn't that expensive, so I want to clear that up for the commission. But he did get top quality equipment in this chamber. As you can see, you can hear me very clearly. And what we have now on this building is a new system to secure it at night as well. So when you walk away here tonight, trust me, it will lock up just like any other ADT service, and I can see it wherever I go. So keep that in mind as well. But very excited about this equipment. We're probably about 90% there on completion. We are live streaming tonight. Hopefully in another 2 weeks, we can have it on our website, where you can just go to our website, hit one button, you can watch a commission meeting. And that's important for this community, because everybody can't make it to a commission meeting, but you need to know what goes on here. You need to know what's said from each commissioner, from the city manager, the city attorney, and from the residents who stand up. You need to have that information delivered to you correctly, not falsely, not watered down to what I thought I heard he said, but exactly what I said or what someone said in this commission chamber. That's important. Transparency is very important here. So I hope you appreciate what you have here, because as he said, it is ahead of the curve when it comes to technology in commission chambers. Just a few, we have a couple of minutes. I just wanted to remind the residents that we have been approved for the $4.6 million Barfield Highway reconstruction project. That's the money that we went after when we were in Tallahassee this year. We switched two projects from McClure Road to Barfield Highway because we expect, along with the hopefully the renovations of the old hospital, that Barfield Highway will complement whatever's going to happen in this corridor. So FDOT came back and indicated that they will begin the processing, that means the pre-planning development of that project in early 2018. I think they said the end of January. Now that was supposed to start the end of this year. I guess they're a little backed up in Tallahassee with getting all their projects out the door, but we're still excited to know that Barfield Highway is moving forward. It's going to be completely reconstructed. I mean, they're going to tear it up down to the beyond the muck and build it back up and make it really beautiful, with one side having a 4-foot wide sidewalk. It's going to be gorgeous when we finish with it. So that's coming, in 2018. Again, that project was supposed to start pre-development at the end of this year, but again, FDOT in Tallahassee got a little pushback with some of their projects, and so they're going to start early 2018. But again, that's $4.6 million it costs to redesign this highway, and it needs it. If you live on that side of town, and you try to go from your home on Barfield going to Belglade, you feel it and you see it. And it's time that we repair it, because we have so many other developments coming in that, I call it the healthcare corridor, that's coming in the near future. And so I can tell you, Vice Mayor Holmes, he'll tell you it's a bad highway. And it doesn't matter what type of car you have, truck you have, it's just a debilitating highway that's getting worse and worse, probably about a week. As we sit here now, that thing's degrading. So we're excited about that for 2018. We have received all 3 bids for the complete renovations, resurfacing of Glade Citizens Villa off State Market Road. There are some legal questions that the city attorney is trying to get answered right now before we release our recommendation. Once we complete that, we'll come back and make a recommendation to the commission on who should get that job and move forward with it. But hopefully we'll get that soon. We have no further comment at this time, but it has been bidded out. We have received 3 bids, but we want to kind of get through some other legal wranglings that we had, lingering out there on this particular entity before we move forward. And so, again, that's $210,000, and we're going to resurface that entire community, new stop signs, entire new streets everywhere, all the way up to your church, Mr. Morrison. It'll be a nice community. Once we finish with that, we're going to come back, and then we're going to do the storm water, because we know when it rains, it floods out there in Glade Citizens Villa. So you got $600,000 for that. So that project hopefully will start mid-spring. In addition to that, probably by the end of this week, all of the projects that we got funded for in the 2017 session, you will see a nice 3x4 sign, glossy sign, and it will say, for example, let's start with the marina, since it's a project of conversation lately. You'll see at the top of the dike, $1.2 million funded by the state legislature and Governor Scott. Project completion date, summer 2018. Those signs are being erected in every area that we receive funding for, not for me, but to educate the community about what projects are coming to the city of Pahokee and what's already been funded. And I think that will help with the educational process of people saying, well, what are we doing in the city? Well, those signs are going to tell you what we're doing in the city, and it's going to tell you how much those projects were funded for, and it's going to give you a timeline. Now, the timeline may be off by 2 or 3 months, but we can change those timelines on the actual sign itself. So if I have a project, for example, the marina, that will say summer of 2018, if that project is ahead of the curve and we'll say, hey, we can finish it in May of 2018, we'll come out there and we'll change that date. But those signs will be erected by the end of this week. And again, those are funded projects in the city of Pahokee that will come online in the next 60 to 90 days based on how the funding flushes out in Tallahassee. So we're excited about that as well. Beyond that, we're still waiting on responses for some grants that we've sent out to the federal government. We haven't gotten a response back yet. You can imagine they're dealing with a lot of the FEMA issues right now. And so that's the focus really in the state of Florida, is trying to figure out how to pay back some of this money that these municipalities have spent out for cleanup in the city of Pahokee. So again, we're excited about where we're going. It sometimes doesn't look like we're moving, but we actually are. It sometimes doesn't look like that we are putting the things in place so we can get to the actual construction and renovations, but we are. It takes time. I just had to explain to Vice Mayor McKinley. She was asking, well, what's taking the project at the marina so long? Well, you got to bring in contractors. You can't build anything without an engineer. However, some people think you can build a car without an engineer. You know that's not true. That's why he's smiling. It takes an opportunity of putting everything together per state statute. We can't skip over those, prerequisites when we do a project. You can't build a project without an engineer. consequently to popular belief, you can't. Just can't. State won't let you. So let us work the process. We will get these projects up and running. They're not delayed. They're actually on time. We know what we're doing. I've done this before. Not the first time, not my first rodeo. But we realize that when people don't see activity, they think we're not moving. We're moving very aggressively to get these projects up, specifically at the marina, because we want that restaurant open as soon as possible. And we want all the other construction to go as quickly as possible. But it has to be done the right way. The city attorney has been on the phone with me most of the day, explaining to me, the process and the statutes that we have to follow, and I appreciate that. I'm trying to skip a couple of things, and he said, Chandler, you can't skip a couple of things. You have to do this way to ensure that there's transparency and there's ethics involved. And so please, please be patient with us. We will get these projects online. There is no delay. We're not shuffling our feet. We're doing it the right way. If you have any questions, call me. I'll give you the right information. I said before, and I'm going to be quiet, I don't live on Facebook. And I'm not going to respond to stuff that's said on Facebook. It's wrong. It's not professional. And it's not adequate. And most of the stuff I read on there is false. If you take the time to call the city manager, you'll get the right answer that you need. I assure you that. And if I don't have the right answer, give me some time. I'll find it for you. But give me the opportunity to make this a great city for everyone to live in. Let me do it the right way. If you have a question about something, I'm more than glad to answer it for you. And I'm going to give you the right answer. That's why they have me here. Like I said, this is not my first rodeo. I know how to roll out projects, and I know how to keep them on time. And that's what we're going to do here. And when we finish, it's going to be something to marvel about in this county and in the state of Florida. The other things that we have coming to this city will set you apart from many, many other cities, not in the state of Florida, but in this country. That's how confident I am about what we're doing. Just give us the time to make it happen the right way. That's all I ask. If you are misunderstood or you feel that we're moving too slow for you, just come into my office and I'll give you every timeline and where we are with our bids, with our contracts, and where we're going in the future for the next 60 days. And if you want a 120-day timeline, I'll provide that to you as well. But let's be fair here. Please be fair to me and this commission. Allow us to help this city get these projects online. We're not delaying, and we're not shuffling our feet. We're ensuring that we're doing this the right way to ensure that when these projects are done, that you are happy and that you are proud to be in this city. And I think you are. I think we have residents that love this city, that are proud of this city, and they see the progress that we made. But I also have to understand that we have impatience as well. And I have to respect that because there's been so much disappointment in this city when it comes to improving our infrastructure. So I have to respect that. And I have to respect that sometimes we get impatient, and that's okay. It's a learning process for me as well. I love this city. I love this job. I love the fact that people have a big interest in making sure Pahokee moves forward. Not just here in Pahokee or Palm Beach County, but in Tallahassee, because that's where the funding comes from, or in Washington, D.C. We have a lot of respect there, and it took a very long time to get that respect back in Tallahassee. I was just in Tallahassee last week, and I sat down for the 2018 session. I had very little to say. And my 5 projects are already on the table. And you're talking about $4.7 million. That's about $1 million more than we went after last year. But I can assure you, Mayor and Vice Mayor and Commission, I'm about 75% there for securing it.
Okay.
And that's because of our relationships that we built. That's what I'm not talking about Pahokee in Tallahassee. You have elected officials that have seen our vision. They're talking about Pahokee in Tallahassee. And so when I show up in Tallahassee and I have a meeting, I have very little to say now. They get it. They get the part about the dike. They get the part about the marina. They understand all the construction that needs to come here. They want to help us move forward. That's why I'm asking for patience. We can't build this overnight. It took us 30 years to get here. You know that.
Thank you, City Manager. We're going to conclude the workshop at this time, and we're going to adjourn in 2 minutes. Thank you. Reconvene. Manager,
Yes.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Commissioner Mervin,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Holmes. Okay, you ready to start? I call this regular commission meeting of Monday, November the 13th, 2017 to order. May we stand for the invocation led by Pastor Wallace, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Father, we stop to tell you thank you tonight for allowing us to come to this place once again. We ask that you give us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to do the work of this city, that everything is done decent and in order, and to the honor of your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Bab,
Present.
Vice Mayor Holmes,
Yes.
Commissioner Hill,
Present.
Commissioner Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Walker, City Manager,
Present.
City Attorney,
Present.
Lieutenant Piccolo,
President.
Acting City Clerk, present.
Thank you, Pastor Holmes, for that invocation. Thank you, staff. Thank you, commissioners, and thank each of you all for being here tonight to take part in our regular commission meeting. On our agenda, we're going to follow it. We are now at the addition, deletions, and approval of the agenda items. Are there any addition to the agenda? I have one. We're going to add Buck Martinez of Student ACES as a presenter. He's going to do a presentation on their program immediately after the Pahokee High School presentation, football presentation, in addition to add-ons. Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve and accept the agenda as presented with the additions of the add-on.
I motion to approve the agenda with the add-ons.
Thank you.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Mervin and properly second by Commissioner Hill. Call for questions. Hearing none. Are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Holmes,
Yes.
Commissioner Walker, Mayor Bab.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. The agenda item is approved by a unanimous vote, 4-0. Next, we have our citizen comments, agenda items only. You must complete a comment card. Are there any comments cards, City Clerk?
Not presently, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll move on to our public service announcement. You also must fill out a public service comment card. Are there any public service announcements?
No.
Thank you, ma'am. Now we'll move to the approval of the minutes. Our minutes of September the 26th, 2017. What's your pleasure, City Commission?
Motion to approve the minutes for September 26th, regular scheduled commission meeting.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Mervin and properly second by Commissioner Hill for the adoption of the minutes of the September 26th regular commission meeting. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Holmes,
Yes.
Commissioner Walker, Mayor Bab.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. The minutes of September 26 are approved by a 4-0 vote. Minutes of October the 10th, 2017, regular commission meeting. What's your pleasure, City Commission?
I'd like to make a motion to approve October 10, 2017 regular scheduled commission meeting minutes, as
I'll
well as,
second.
go ahead, I'm sorry.
Been moved by Commissioner
Trying to
Keel and
say.
properly second by Commissioner Mervin for the adoption of our October the 10th, 2017 regular commission meeting. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Commissioner Mervin,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Holmes,
Yes.
Commissioner Walker, Mayor Bab.
Yes. Minutes October 10th, 2017 passes. Now we have the minutes of October 24th, 2017, regular scheduled commission meeting. What's your pleasure, City Commission?
I'd like to make a motion to approve minutes for October 27, 2017, regular scheduled commission meeting.
I'll second.
Been moved by Commissioner Hill and properly second by Commissioner Mervin for the approval of the October 24th, 2017 regular commission meeting. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Commissioner Mervin,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Holmes, Commissioner Walker, Mayor Bowden.
Yes, thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. October 24th, minutes passes. We don't have any consent agenda items. We have one ordinance 2017-8. City Attorney, could you read this into the record?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this is ordinance number 2017-08, an ordinance of the City of Pahokee, Florida, amending section 2-63, paren 9 of the Code of Ordinances regarding supervision of the city clerk, providing severability, inclusion in the code, and effective date. This changes the section regarding the supervision of the clerk, so it reads, "The clerk shall serve under the direct supervision of the city commission, and both the city manager and the city commissions shall evaluate the clerk." This was a recommendation of your Charter Review Committee.
Hey, thank you, City Attorney. Haven't had ordinance 2017-8 properly read into the minutes. What's your pleasure, City Commission?
I make a motion to approve ordinance 2017-2008 for the first reading.
Second.
Been moved and by Commissioner Mervin and properly second by Commissioner Hill for the adoption of ordinance 2017-8 on first reading. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Holmes,
No.
Commissioner Walker, Mayor Bowden.
Yes. Ordinance 2017-8 passes by a 3-1 vote on first reading. Resolutions. Resolution 2017-32. City Attorney.
Mr. Mayor, this is a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee authorizing the mayor's execution of an application to the Florida Department of Transportation for a permit for the annual Pahokee Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Parade.
Haven't had resolution 2017-32 properly read into the minutes. What's your pleasure, City Commission?
I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 2017-32. Should I read that? No? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
I'll second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Hill for the adoption of Resolution 2017-32 and properly second by Commissioner Mervin. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Commissioner Mervin,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Holmes,
Yes.
Commissioner Walker, Mayor Bowden.
Yes. Thank you, City Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Resolution 2017-32 passes by a 4-0 vote. Now we have Resolution 2017-33. City Attorney.
This is a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee authorizing and directing the mayor to execute the sub-recipient agreement by and between Palm Beach County and the City of Pahokee. This is for a sub-recipient agreement of $22,000 under the Older Americans Act Program Title III.
Thank you, City Attorney. Haven't had Resolution 2017-33 properly read into the minutes. What's your pleasure, City Commission?
Is there any way you can explain that?
Of course.
A little
Yes,
more
ma'am.
clarity to the citizens?
I didn't hear.
Is there any way you could explain that Just a little clarity. little more
The
detail.
county's receiving $22,000 of federal monies, and they're passing it through to the city for your use in your elder programs.
Okay. No, I know, I just want, thank you.
We haven't had resolution 2017-33 read into the minutes and properly explained. What's your pleasure, City Commission?
I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 2017-33.
I'll second
It's been moved that resolution 2017-33 be approved. Motion was made by Commissioner Hill, properly seconded by Commissioner Mervin. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Commissioner Mervin,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Holmes,
Yes.
Commissioner Walker, Mayor Bab.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Resolution 2017-33 passes by a unanimous 4-0 vote. Now we have Resolution 2017-34, City Attorney.
Mr. Mayor, this is a resolution of the City of Pahokee, Florida, authorizing the mayor's execution of an application to the Florida Department of Transportation for a permit for the annual Pahokee Christmas Parade. You had previously adopted a resolution. It had, there has been a date change on that, and that's why we're doing it again. You'll note in the first paragraph that there's a typographical error, that December 5th is a Tuesday, not a Monday. Other than that, the resolution is in good order.
Okay, thank you, City Attorney. Haven't had Resolution 2017-34 properly read into the minutes by our City Attorney. What's your pleasure, City Commission?
I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 2017-34.
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Hill for the adoption of Resolution 2017-34 and properly seconded by Vice Mayor Holmes. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Holmes,
Yes.
Commissioner Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Walker, Mayor Bab.
Yes. Thank you, City Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Resolution 2017-34 passes by 4-0 vote. Public hearings, we have none. Proclamations, we have none. Presentation, we have a presentation for the Pahokee High School football team. Will the City Commission join me down on the floor? I'm gonna ask that the coach, cheerleaders, and the football team, if they are here, to come forward. So on behalf of the Pahokee City Commission, as mayor, it gives me a great pleasure to present Pahokee High School with this recognition, the 2017 Muck Bowl champion. I know a lot of people feel that the Muck Bowl is the most important game we would play. It's the second most important to me. I want you to bring home the state championship, sir. And I know the community will love that too. But we're certainly gonna be pulling for you, cheering you on, and wishing you all success. This plaque reads, the City of Pahokee recognizes the Pahokee High School varsity football team for their stellar performance in the 2017 Muck Bowl. Pahokee High School Muck Bowl champion 2017. Congratulations, presented November the 13th, 2017, Pahokee City Commission. Certainly, sir, we'll give you an opportunity to say a few words on behalf of the school.
Yes.
High school.
Well, it's always good to be recognized for something positive. Thank the City of Pahokee for once again supporting us in many ways, plaque being the least of it all. It always feels good to know that you're supported. The guys are preparing hard. Like you said, you know, this is a very prestigious accomplishment, but we're looking forward to bigger and better things moving on in the season. So we're looking to see you here in a few more weeks with the state championship.
And Coach, if the next game is at home,
We'll be at home Friday against Boston.
okay.
After that, we'll be traveling up to, I don't want to be psychic or anything, but most likely Madison County.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Our next presenter would be the student aces, Buck Martinez. Would you come forward, sir? This is a real exciting program that's going on in the city of Pahokee and the county-wide, where this organization is assisting these young students trained for leadership. So take it away, Buck. Appreciate you
Mr.
being
Mayor.
here, sir.
Thank you, Commissioners, Vice Mayor. It's a great pleasure to be here. We're actually down in Lauderdale today working with kids down south, so have to hustle to get up here. So I want to talk a little bit about Student ACES and what Student ACES is. I worked for Florida Power Life for 35 years, and about 4 years ago, the good Lord just moved my heart to really start a program for young adults. And what it is we target high school kids. My passion has always been student athletes. And what it is, it's a program designed to create young men and women of honor, character, and integrity. So we have what we call a values-based leadership program. Our students are excused from school 1 day a month. And what that curriculum entails is one class that's on commanding respect, not demanding respect. It's about earning trust. It's about ethics and morality. It's about the art of sacrifice. It's about self-esteem and self-image. And it's about what we call a work ethic second to none. So we have one class every day for the whole school year. We feed the kids. We provide breakfast. We provide lunch. We've never charged a student, and my pledge is I will never charge a student. So when I was approaching some of the different entities that have businesses out here, I made it clear that I wanted an MOU from them that basically would outline what it meant to have commitment. So what that means is I committed to them on my behalf that I would commit no less than 5 years to this area. My goal is the good Lord lets me live long enough, it'll be a lot longer than 5 years. But what we need, and one of the reasons we're here tonight, is what we need is more commitment that allows these young men and women to have just more than 1 day a month. So we've identified a young man that we hope we can raise enough money to put him on staff full time. His name is DeJuan Morgan. DeJuan Morgan is an incredible man of God. He has 4 kids of his own. He's 31 years old. He's from Riviera Beach, played at North Carolina State, played for the Kansas City Chiefs. He has an amazing passion for this kind of stuff. The students have rallied around him. So we plan on, my goal is to expand this program in a big way where we can actually have a full-time presence right here in Pahokee. Anquan Bolden's wife, Dion, is on our board. And we have a board that's committed to not only Pahokee and Glades, but it's committed to a number of other areas. As I speak, I'm working with 2,000 inner city kids in Miami, as well as Broward, as well as Palm Beach. But my focus right now is to talk about this area. Mr. Mayor, if I could request, 4 of our students are here tonight, and they would like to basically talk to you a little bit about the impact that the program is having on them, because we are so proud of these young men and women. They have, in the short time that we've been here, they have absolutely grasped onto this. I've never seen a group of young men and women with the desire to just basically be men and women of character, to be the leaders of tomorrow. They have engaged in every exercise that we have. They are passionate, they are eager, and they are going to be the future. They're going to be the leaders of this great country. So if I may, what I'll ask of you is come on up and introduce themselves, if I may, Mr.
Sure,
Mayor.
absolutely.
yourselves to the commission.
Alright, good evening, everyone. My name is OJ Hilaire. I attend Glade Central High School. I'm a junior, and I'm also a student athlete.
Good evening, my name is Tajia Green. I go to Glade Central Community High School. I'm also a junior. We love this group. This group helps us to communicate with each other, better grades, show us experience movements that we haven't seen yet, and we just work together.
Hey, good evening, everyone. My name is Jane Davis, and I'm a sophomore at I-10 Glade Central High School. And this program has brought me a long way from bringing up my GPA, and I really been excited to be there with meet new people around the world.
Good evening, my name is Lenaja Wilson. I attend Glade Central Community High School. I'm a junior, and this program taught me to be more friendly and make better grades and better choices.
Thank you, great.
We never call our students athletes alone. We call them student athletes, and they recognize that their priority is their grades. So what we're doing is we're truly emphasizing the whole being, the whole person. And the intent is, right now we've got 100 students in the program. I wish we could do more, but we have a very limited number of high schools out here. So we've got Glades Day, we've got Glade Central, we've had Pahokee, and then we invited Clewiston and Clewiston Christian into the area. So we're limited also because we don't have a lot of space. Right now we've been doing the program at the Pahokee United Methodist Church, and they've been gracious enough to give us space out there. But my passion, my vision is to actually create a center out here where we would have a place for these young men and women to go every day. So you could reinforce the learnings, you could reinforce every aspect of the program that's coming their way. And we've got people that are just eager to continue to invest in these young men and women. And there's such a desire from the business community out here to have these young men and women, whether they go off to college or they decide to go into the trades, to actually physically come back here and be the leaders of tomorrow. And I speak from the heart. I've got 4,000 students in my program today. I have never seen a more excitable, eager group of kids to be able to really take this and grasp it. And we need to do more for them. So as I speak, one of the things that we're passionate about is creating an identity and an image. So I had these shirts made for them, each of these. So what we use is a phrase called aspire to greatness. And what that is that each of these young men and women, what we tell them is that they were born for greatness. They will aspire to greatness, but we define greatness based on their ability to serve, their ability to be servant leaders, their ability to rise and then raise up everybody else under them. It's not about power, it's not about wealth, but it's about living a life that in essence brings out the most in everybody else. So if you believe that we all come from the DNA of a creator, we all have the ability to aspire to greatness. And these young men and women are going to be phenomenal. They're going to be great. They're going to be the future leaders of this country. And we have the ability to bring more and more of them into the program. So as we speak, the rationale that we use for them being, for the most part, juniors, is that by investing in these young men and women as juniors or sophomores, they then go back into their schools. And they have a whole year to basically take all those learnings and apply it in their schools. So they become the leaders of their schools, they become the leaders of their communities, they become the leaders of their teams. So they're role modeling for everybody else. And when we tell these young men and women, all these little kids are watching them every day. So the first thing they do is clean up what? Social media. We keep an eye on all their social media, so they have to have a very clean social media. Why? Because we want them to be successful. Because every college has people. University of Florida has 25 people dedicated to do nothing more than watching everybody's social media. And if you guys anything on there, you will basically be disqualified from that school. So, I just want to thank you all for embracing us tonight. And the mayor texted me yesterday and said, "Would you want to come out here and talk?" I said, I can't wait." So if there's any questions from the commissioners or mayor, if you have, we'd be glad to. Myself or I have to brag about somebody special here, and I know this is Pahokee territory, but there's a person that's making a huge difference in all these young men and women's lives, and I can't speak enough about Candace Fletcher. Miss Fletcher is the AD at Glade Central. She is, she is God's gift to this community. She makes sure that she emphasizes the right things to these kids. So we have nicknames for our kids, whether it's 3.67 or whether it's 4.0. We never emphasize the sports aspect. We emphasize their ability to get their education.
Exactly.
And what Mr. Davis said earlier about his GPA, he just got a 3.2 report card, which is phenomenal. So we applaud them every time they do these things, so we're super proud of them. So we'll be glad to field any questions that you all may have.
Mr. Morris, you had a question?
Yeah. What is the date of the monthly meeting?
The December meeting? 7th? 7th, okay, Pearl Harbor Day. So all our meetings, we start at 8:30 and we go till 2 o'clock. I wish we could go longer, but all these young men and women are also involved in sports, so they have a busy day. So they've got their academics, they've got their sports, they also have their social aspects. So you're all invited to attend.
Are you having participation from all the local schools?
Yes, all the local schools are in. We invite every school. But that's why I say we're limited. Like in Palm Beach, we have classes in Jupiter. So that has all the schools in that area, which is about 15 to 18 schools. Down in Boca, which gives us North Broward, as well as Atlantic and Delray, we have about 20 schools. And in Miami, we're working with Miami Central, Booker T, Northwestern, Carroll City, all those schools. So we've got a lot of those schools in that area. But here, we really have Glade Central, Pahokee, Glades Day. So it gives us the ability to bring a lot more kids from each of those schools. So we have the ability to truly impact those three schools.
I got an opportunity to visit the first class, and it's phenomenal. I was really impressed with what I saw. In addition, we should be asking, how can we help? Because they are our students, and they are going to be our future leaders. So he need to get in front of some audience. So if you have any connection with organizations that he can do a presentation to and introduce the program and share that information with the community, let us know and let him know so we can get him some speaking engagement. In addition to that, he mentioned the fact that he's trying to fund a program and a position too. This guy played in NFL, he's a motivator, he's a teacher, he's trying to go full time in this program so we can reach more students. So if you know of any business contact, any attorneys, any people that have resources that could offer some assistance to help funding this position. And I would ask even our city if we can find any resources that we can give a donation, however small or however large, in the near future to assist in this position. So that's one of the ways that we can help in getting this program more advanced.
One other question is it's a 501c3. It's called Student ACES, ACES. So ACES stands for Athletics Community Education, because we strive for the whole person, not just the athlete. And the other thing, if I may, I've written 3 books on leadership. So the first book was called Building Blocks of Leadership for Young Adults, and that emphasizes 4 key tenets of leadership. So it's respect, trust, work ethic, and sacrifice. And that book is one book that we want to make sure we get to every kid in Pahokee and Glade Central. The second book is called The Captain's Playbook. So we do what we call Captain's Leadership Summits, and what that is we bring captains from all the different schools into a setting. So it's essence leaders among leaders. And we put them through a lot of role playing, we put them through a lot of ethics cases that they're going to confront, a lot of social media stuff that's going on. And then the last book that just came out a few weeks ago, it's called Straight Talk. So Straight Talk is basically that conversation that a lot of folks are not having with the kids. So the Straight Talk talks about attitude, which is what we teach to young men and women, is that the only thing you can control in life, the only thing is attitude. Life happens, and we all get faced with a lot of adversity, but attitude is how you approach that lens and how you view life. But we talks about fiscal discipline and the ability to basically deal with that thing called debt, because debt is not your friend. And especially with these young men and women, a lot of them have to go to college and come back with all this enormous debt. And we talk about drinking, we talk about domestic violence and those issues. So we have, so my goal is to give every young man and woman those books. And with Ms. Fletcher's help, we're going to be doing a captain's summit here pretty soon. So it's just a matter of letting the football season, come to an end. And we'll do a big day out here. So, and then at the end of the year in May, we have what we call our Champions of Character Awards Banquet. It's really neat. So last year was our first one we ever did. We had 375 people. I picked up the tab for all the kids. So the kids were all free. We had a phenomenal banquet of steak and chicken and salmon and all that. But more importantly, we recognized, of all the kids in the program, we recognized 10 what we call champions of character. We never emphasize the sports aspect, we emphasize the character aspect. And then we recognized 20 of what we called our leadership awards also. So we would love to have, obviously, all of you attend. We did it at a school last year called G-Star in West Palm. So G-Star is a video production school where they actually film movies there, commercials. So they turned it into a whole production scene where we had the red carpet. ESPN was live on our carpet. They were interviewing the kids as they were coming in. We had pro athletes that were doing interviews with the kids. It was really a spectacular event. So
Sir, where do people make donations if they'd like to?
I can get with you, but we're online at Student Aces, and it'll say please donate.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, Ms.
Thank you.
Martina,
Thank
we
you.
certainly
Thank you.
appreciate you coming out and sharing that information, and whatever we can do as a city, we're gonna work towards
We
that.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
We love what we've seen in this community, and I can't say enough about these young men and women, so thank
All
you.
right. Thank you.
Appreciate you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna move right on into the mayor's report. It's gonna be brief. Vice Mayor Holmes, they need to get out of here by 7:30, so we're gonna try to get him out of here. The Veteran Day program, absolutely beautiful. I hope that most of you all was able to attend. If not, you missed a treat, and we're gonna encourage you to try your best to participate with us on an annual basis as we honor and try to recognize our veterans, our local veterans. All of these young men and women have served it in the armed forces, have lived it in Pahokee or continue to live in Pahokee at one time. So I want to thank staff, thank Chandler, our city manager and his staff. It was a holiday for them. Most of the staff was there. They did an excellent job, and we certainly appreciate that. I just also want to recognize our local newspaper. Chris, could you stand up a minute? I know some of y'all see him sometime taking pictures. He does excellent coverage of our local news. It's been a while since we had a president of a reporter here on a regular basis. He came out and did coverage on the Veteran Day program, Back to School Bash. I mean, if for no other reason, we should be buying a local newspaper because it gives highlights of what's happening in our community, and we appreciate your help for doing that so much. And that's going to be the end of my report. We're going to move into our city manager report.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to try to be brief as well. Couple of things. Our Thanksgiving turkey giveaway will be November 21st. We'll be giving away 75 turkeys, and we have some tickets, and we're trying to organize how we're going to disperse those to the community for the turkey giveaway. That'll be on November 21st. Our Christmas parade is on December 4th, and then our 5th?
Tuesday the 5th.
Tuesday. I always thought it was the first Monday, but okay. My apologies. Thank you for that. Thanks for that correction.
No, it's Tuesday, December 5th.
So we changed it this year?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. It's the 5th now. Okay.
And the time?
What that is?
I think lineup is about 5 o'clock. And
5?
it starts at 6. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Tuesday. Okay. We're in the pre-stages of planning our MLK extravaganza. We're going to do something a little different this year. Typically, we do our MLK celebration on MLK Day. However, we are always clashing with the other cities in the Glades on that day. So we're going to be switching to Saturday, and we're going to do our MLK extravaganza and parade on Saturday. So everybody in the Glades should have no reason not to be in Pahokee on that Saturday for the MLK celebration. And it also gives staff a full 2 days off as well after that event has been completed. So we'll be doing that on that Saturday. I think that is January 13th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And so we'll be asking some of our sororities and fraternities that'll be helping us host that event this year. It's going to be much more, I guess, planned out than we did in previous years here in the city of Pahokee. We're going to try to get back to the tradition of celebrating that holiday here in Pahokee. Palm Beach County Days, that's legislative days in Tallahassee. Session starts earlier this year, not March. It starts in January. Palm Beach County Days is when myself and I take the commission along with me, and we do a day of lobbying on behalf of the city of Pahokee for our already funded, well, not already funded projects, but hopefully funded projects that we'll receive in 2018. I don't have those dates, but I think they're January's 8th and 9th. I could be wrong, but I think it's 8th and 9th. Just 2 days in Tallahassee, but it's coming fairly quickly. But as I said, we sort of laid the groundwork. We're going to bring in our lobbyists next month, and they'll give you a full update on what happened in 2017, what's going to happen in 2018 legislative session. They'll be here in December. Subsequently, they're working on our behalf, you know, throughout, before legislative session and throughout legislative session. They've done a good job with what they've been able to bring home for the city of Pahokee, along with this team up here that you see. And so we're excited to get back to Tallahassee. Back to legislative funding, we're asking for $999,000 for additional improvements at the marina. So we're going to go after another $1 million for the marina. I'm asking for $1.5 million for the gymnasium. You know, we hit some snags with the renovations of the gymnasium this year. That's okay. We're going to go to Tallahassee, and we're going to have to go at it in a different direction as far as funding that particular entity. But we're confident that we'll have some success there as well. Stormwater improvement for First Street, $660,000 that we're going to be asking for. We're going to ask for additional renovations for King Park, MLK Park. As you know, we got $550,000 for Commissioners Park, and that project will probably start at the beginning of the year sometime. But we need to also address some things in MLK Park. Some things have aged out there, and we need to address it sooner than later. And that complements our surtax dollars that we're going to do some things out there as well. And so that project hasn't started. And that is 5 projects that we have in the city of Pahokee for legislative session. So we're excited about that. Veterans Day was great. We want to do something a little different this year. We have some great turnout. All the participating electees, they did, well, not all of them showed up, but I think everyone had a great time this year. So I appreciate everyone coming out. We need more participation in those type of activities. It was a very diverse crowd, and that's what we need here in the city of Pahokee. We have some great things coming, and your support of this administration, this team up here, is important. We don't always agree, and that's okay. We're here for the betterment of for this community and for this city, and that's what's important. And I need everyone to remember that we sometimes don't all agree up here, but we have one goal in mind, and that's to move the city of Pahokee forward where you all can be proud. And so I appreciate all of your support for this team up here, not just me and the administration, but everyone that sits on this dais. It takes team effort. You know, I don't know everything, and as collectively we can get a lot of work done in this city if we work together, and that's what I'm proud of here tonight. So thank you very much. That's it, Mayor.
Thank you, City Manager. Now we have the City Attorney report.
Yeah.
Mayor, my report will be very brief as well. I have no report.
Thank you, sir. Brother Roach, you have something to say?
I think lineup will probably be around about 8:30. Parade should start about 9 a.m. We're in the preliminary stages of planning it right now, but it's from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. the entire program. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Have no old business, new business. We have the lieutenant report from Palm Beach County Sheriff Office. Have anything, sir?
Mr. Mayor, nothing additional to what city manager and I discussed. Just, so I have no report.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
That was my cue.
Appointment to the Zoning Adjustment and Planning Board members. I think our city clerk gave us a list of members that either need to be reappointed or appointed new members. We do have 2 applicants that's new that filed an application. We always like to give others an opportunity to serve on our various boards. However, you hate to dismantle a board that's working, but you don't want to continue with the same people for too long. It's a reason they have terms to allow others to serve. So I don't know what's your pleasure. Did the commission get a chance to look over the applications and look over the current list? City clerk, I don't know if you're the acting clerk, but the regular clerk, did she tell you whether or not she contacted the current board members and all of them agreed to serve or be reappointed? Are you aware?
I would have to.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I think we wanted to give the commission opportunity to maybe choose others and also engage those who are currently on the board, but not to negate the fact that commission has an opportunity to nominate others for the board.
Okay, but so far, other than the 5 that currently serve, and I think we only had 2 new applicants. So 3 would still need to be reappointed, even if you went with the 2 new.
Right. I mean, like I said, you could wait till the next commission meeting. You don't have to do it tonight, but.
Okay, I think
No.
that would be probably the best idea. Give us some little time to
Okay.
think of what course we want to take on that. We have 5 that currently serve and is an active board, but keep in mind, we have 2 additional applications that have shown interest in that particular board. So you may want to strongly consider them. Are there any particular backgrounds that this board need, attorney? None in
No,
particular?
I think in the past you have designated people that are in different backgrounds, but that's not by ordinance. So
Okay.
that's up to you entirely.
Okay. So Commissioner, if it's your pleasure, we'll take a look at that at our next meeting to appoint or reappoint that particular board. Okay, we're down to citizen comments and general concerns. Do we have any comments card, Madam Clerk?
Yes, we have 2 so far.
Okay.
The first one is Reverend Patricia Wallace.
Reverend Patricia Wallace, 1381 East Main Street. Just a reminder in the fact of the balloon release in memory of Jonathan and Dante on the 25th of this month at Commissioner Park. If there's anything that we need to do as a family to make sure we are legally set at that park, we're gonna do just a hot dog probably on grills and release balloons and have moments of reflections with some of the officers and citizens and family members.
It's already been approved. It's already approved.
Okay,
What time is that?
at noon.
Noon.
What was the date, Pastor?
The 25th.
25th.
November
25th.
25th at 12 noon.
And that's Commissioner Park.
Yes.
Mhm.
Also, I was trying to get an update on the status of the scholarship.
Mayor, we're working with PVSO. I've actually had that conversation with one of their representatives. We're trying to figure out the best course forward to develop that scholarship. But we should have a remnants of a decision before the release of the balloons. I have an idea what I think would work, but I just don't want to talk about it until I get the right fiscal support behind it.
So it's something that we may be able to announce, maybe.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome, awesome. The third item is we volunteer with the schools in our churches at Dr. Canal Point and Pahokee Middle. But our main concern now has been Canal Point Elementary. That school was devastated a lot from the hurricane and just the age of the building itself. A lot of work had to be done, and getting calls from parents. We responded to the school to find there was so much that was just not done. We made a call to the school board. They did respond immediately, and a lot of the things have been remedied, but there's still a lot of work to do. Some of the citizens, I guess, in that area don't think that they are inclusive with Pahokee. And that's a point I want to see how we can reiterate that Pahokee do cover the Canal Point unincorporated area as unincorporated area of Pahokee. Do we do anything for Canal Point as a city? It don't have a government of its own.
Not from a government perspective when it comes to a fiscal support, no ma'am. We include them in, of course, in our programs, but our fiscal support stops there. We can't reach into their township.
Okay, a lot of the things that we do, we call it the Tri-City area. And that's another question. They wanted to know if it could be called the Glades Quad to include Canal Point. Most of our children from anybody that lives in the unincorporated area of Pahokee that's in elementary age should be going to Canal Point. They should be going to Canal Point if they have not been, strategically sent or parents has chosen to send them elsewhere in order to keep that going. So a lot of the citizens do, have school children there. So when we talk about Tri-City, it seems as though Canal Point is excluded from who we are, but they are a part of us. I live in Pahokee. I never lived in Canal Point, but certainly a lot of the members from the church go there. I'm out of time, so I will sit down and wait for a response to that. Yeah, some way we can do it and work with the school board and our Tri-City Educational Board to see that they will feel inclusive.
Okay. Well, I know that a lot of the students that go to Canal Point do get services from the city. They do play in our sports programs, but as far as I guess I'll talk to you after the meeting to see exactly what the concern and need is, because we do service a lot of those kids in our Parks and Recs programs, and so and they participate in a lot of things that City of Pahokee produces in many programs, but. I needed some additional information, and so we can talk after the meeting.
Certainly, thank you.
Okay. We have one additional comment card.
Yes, Miss Linda Moss.
Linda Moss, 2827 Bacon Point Road. I've been gone for 2 months working in the Keys doing disaster recovery and relief, and I'm not hearing anything as I check back over in different areas. And Chandler, no, I have not called you. I was hoping to hear a marina update tonight. I have a personal concern that there's some pulling and tugging, and I mean, if you sign a lease on a marina and a restaurant and a campground and this, that, and the other, shouldn't they be more involved in what's going on and what's going on now? I guess maybe I need to have things explained to me, but it just seems like that there's been, I hear keys aren't turned over and they can't do what they need to do. This isn't being done because there's this, that in place. Are we duplicating needs between engineers and architects if they're going to be using engineers and architects? I'm real concerned about this not moving forward and them turning around and walking away, because it is absolutely something I don't understand how or why it's working the way it's working. And I don't know if I'm the only one frustrated about it, but I'm very frustrated that it might be something that might fall through our fingers again, and I don't want that to happen, and I don't think anybody on this commission, I don't think the city manager wants it to happen, but I'm concerned that we're not doing everything we can do as citizens, as commissioners, as city manager. I don't know what role the attorney plays in all of this, but people, we can't let this happen. This has got to move forward. This has got to happen. And I know if I were a person that I signed a lease and I wasn't going to have a development finished in a year, I'd be gone. I mean, I can't commit myself and not be able to get in there and start doing something before then. And I would really like to maybe have some information shared. If you want to do it at a later date or somebody call me on the phone, I'm happy with that. But I'm very concerned. I've had conversations with Robert Miller, I've had conversations with Robert Lambert, and there is a level of frustration. And I think maybe we should have more conversation, but I think something needs to move forward. That restaurant needs to be open sooner than a year. Belgrade, Torrey Island is full. We're missing a whole nother year. People, we gotta move forward. We gotta move forward quick. And I'm not calling anybody out, I'm asking for information.
Chandler, maybe we could do a town hall meeting just to
We don't
bring
need a town hall
everybody
meeting, Mayor.
up to date.
Don't, please don't say town hall meeting.
Let me say something, I gotta go.
Let me,
Say something.
you,
I gotta go.
I can answer all her questions
No,
probably in
let me
5
just
seconds.
say this, I gotta go. I got a lot of phone calls today in reference to this.
Not
We
for
got-
me.
I know, we got concerned citizens, I'm not gonna say who called me. We got concerned citizens. The dais voted unanimously for us to do this and move forward. We need to stop dragging our feet, just like Ms. Moss said. We gotta move forward. We already done voted. I don't know why we're not being obeyed.
I think one of the key ingredients, though, is the governor and board still have to sign off on them. We would love to give them the key and say, okay.
'Cause I like educated people up here, that's why.
I didn't
Right.
know that.
Yes.
So that's why I'm asking. I got home Friday night, Chandler, sorry, I hadn't had a chance to call you.
It's okay. It's okay.
So I'm.
It's
I'm
okay.
Just asking.
It's okay.
Thank you, thank you.
I got
Mr.
you
Mayor.
pretty close to where
Yeah, it's okay. Excuse me, I gotta go.
Yeah, we about done.
But you know, we gotta do better. Yeah. Just gotta do better.
You know, I think.
Let the city manager go ahead with his response. If he feel we don't need, I just want to just kind of air thing that was out, give community a chance to ask questions. I don't know how much information we can provide in 5 minutes, but I don't want to be all night though.
I can provide it.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's me now.
We're gonna start finding though. I
know.
mean, I can get some money tonight.
I'm sorry. We just closed on the first phase of this construction project, which means we just closed the first bid. Which first bid? I don't know if you can hear me. The first bid for this project. First phase. We just closed the bid a week ago, which then means we have to put an agreement together. We have to propose that person who won the bid to the commission. There's engineering that's involved. No one's dragging their feet. I don't know where these conversations are coming from. I just had a pre-project startup meeting with everybody on Friday. This past Friday. And so, let me finish, Ms. Moss, because I'm at the point now where misinformation gets out there and it runs rampant in this community and no one steps in City Hall to ask a question. Someone comes in here and do what you do. They stand up there and say that. We just had a project meeting on Friday with everybody. The investors, the selected vendor that's gonna start phase 1, and the engineers. Everybody's on the same page. Now, let's address this key thing. When we agreed for those, let me finish, Ms. Moss. When we finished those 3 leases and this group approved them, they have to go where? To Tallahassee. They're not approved yet. They're approved here. They have to be approved by the state before anybody does anything up there. However, we know how important it is to get the restaurant open, don't we? Of course. We've been working feverishly with the county to get a permit to get started on some simple tasks that they want to do. It's not a holdup by the city. It's not a holdup by the investment group. It's just a process it takes to get started. Now, what concerns me is when I have a meeting with everybody, including the investors, everybody's happy and nice. Then next thing I know, Facebook pops up. I don't get that. I don't get that at all when everyone's on the same page. And I'm sick of it, really. To be really honest. No one's holding this process up. I want this done as quickly as possible. I really do. But when I have to sit on a Sunday morning and get texts from a commissioner that says things that make absolutely no sense, like, why do we need engineers? I'm sorry, but every project built anywhere needs an engineer on it. They have to draw their specs out. They have to build the bid. They have to propose it to whoever's going to bid on it. So whoever's sitting out there saying we don't need engineers, I don't know what world they're in. I really don't. This is a process, and we are not dragging our feet. Trust me. I wish I could build everything tomorrow, but we know that's not how it goes. It's a process of developing the bid, pre-bid, bringing folks in who want to do the work, let them bid on it. We've decided, propose it here, we go to work. That's not tomorrow, folks. But I'm going to express it again because we're live streaming, thank God. I want the restaurant open immediately. And I'm willing to go to the, let me finish, Ms. Moss. I'm willing to go to the very end to make sure that restaurant opens tomorrow. And this thing about keys, that's silly. Because those investors have access to that restaurant anytime they want. If they want a key, they can have a key. Anytime they want. So let's clear the air. Stop listening to everything that's flying in the minutiae out here as the truth. Call me and you'll get the truth. I'm sick of that. And I hate to kind of use that type of language, but I'm tired of the comments. I'm tired of the hearsay. I'm tired of the gossip. And some of you in this audience participate in that. Stop it. Stop it. Please stop it. Allow us to do our job. We're doing it the right way. We're not dragging our feet. If somebody can come build that tomorrow, show up tomorrow at the marina and build all that stuff for $1.2 million, but you can't. This is state dollars. We have to follow a process. Been on the phone with the city attorney half the day about following the process correctly. I would love to cut corners, but I can't because I'm going to do it right. And when I'm finished with it, you're going to be proud of it. So please stop this nonsense that we're dragging our feet and we're not doing what we're supposed to do. If these investment groups who I love, who I spent an entire weekend with in Fort Lauderdale at the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show, got a problem, they need to come to talk to me. They don't need to talk to you. None of you run this city. I'm sorry to be very blunt with you. None of you run this city in this process. But if you have a question, respect me, come in my office and talk to me. I will give you the information that you need so we don't get on Facebook or run rampant out in the street and say things that are not true. It's ridiculous. We're better than that.
Do we have a date that we think the restaurant might be open and functioning at some level?
The investment group wants January 1st, but even Robert Miller has been very candid and said, well, it might be a little later than that. I'm saying January 1st, and I'm still sticking to January 1st. I am. That's where we are.
I've never heard of that.
You know, we completely stripped out the restaurant. It's absolutely naked. There's nothing in there. It's up to them to stock it with the equipment that they need and get it open. Period. Not me. That's not a part of the agreement. And again, you have 3 leases that have to be approved by the state, but we said we will get this restaurant open in spite of the leases not being approved because we know how important that is for the season. I know I'm not speaking Spanish here, and I'm sick of it, that everybody runs out in this community and has so much to say and it's the wrong information. Get it right. And if I step on some toes tonight, so what? Get it right. Call me and you get the information. Don't go running behind my back. I hate that. That's a coward.
Thank you, sir.
If you want, I'm sorry, man, but give me this for a moment. If you want to have some information the right way, come talk to the city manager. Ask the city attorney. We'll give it to you. But some of you run out there on Facebook and say some of the worst things I've ever read in my entire life about this city, about this staff, and about this city manager. It's ridiculous. No wonder no one wants to come here. We gossip too much. Got a lot to do with it. Got everything to do with it. Close your mouth. Let us do our work. It takes a process to get this done. And we're going to get it done the right way. We've come too far to allow gossip to interfere with the progress that we've made. We've made some wonderful progress. Is the marina where we want it? Of course not. But it will be there. It will be there. No one's saying a year, but you're talking about 1.2 million in construction. And yes, for the person who wants to know, we have to close the public side because you can't build a house with the family standing on the foundation as they build it. You got to close some things. Heard that too.
Okay, let's end on a positive note though, but
That is positive.
Mr. Mayor, might I point out the information's in the newspaper before we.
yes. And not only that, sometimes the public is not always privy to certain things that occur. There have been some things that occurred that really would have derailed this entire operation. Would have been done in most cities, wouldn't have no more discussion. But this city is so committed. We work to fix that and move forward. In most cities, what had occurred wouldn't have went forward. The deal would have been dead and done. I'm just putting that out to show you how much commitment this commission, this city attorney, this city manager is towards moving that project forward.
I don't doubt the commitment. I've never questioned the commitment from the city. What I question is the timeline, and I have not talked to Taylor. I am not on Facebook about it. It's just it's a personal opinion of mine. I haven't had a chance to talk to Chandler. But as a business person, if I had to wait that long on a lease to not be able to start getting involved in building a business and yada, 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 I would have issues with that. Do we know when do we have a projected time frame that we think the state will have the leases back?
Well, we should have an update in the morning. We know that we'll have a decision made. If it hasn't already arrived in our email boxes tonight.
And when the leases get back, what transpires next?
In the leases, but that the investment group agreed to, that once the city is done with the $1.2 million in renovations and constructions, that they will then take over the entire management operations of the marina. That's the campground, the restaurant, and the marina. However, and I'm going to reiterate, we want the restaurant open now, in spite of what was written in the leases, and we agreed to that. Yes. I'm not in the restaurant business.
I understand that, but.
Yes, yes, yes. We had these discussions up here in length. That's why it baffles me that I'm sitting here talking about it. Once the construction is done, they have full management of the marina. That was agreed to in the leases by this investment group. However, we all agreed that we want them to open the restaurant right now as soon as possible. That's not written in the lease. That's just something, let's say, let's go out and let's get it done. That's where we are. That's written in stone. It's in the leases. And they agreed to understand that we have to renovate and update the entire area out there before they take over fully. That was talked about in length up here before we agreed on these leases, before we sent them to Tallahassee. This is nothing new. But I understand. We want it now because we've had so much disappointment, and I have to respect that. But please, and I said it earlier, give me the opportunity, give us the opportunity to get it done right in a timely fashion. I understand the frustration. We've been frustrated for several years in this city, but we're not going to skip over the process to do it right. So just give us that opportunity. It's being done right. We're on the timeline. We're on the right timeline.
Okay, and I want to say one other thing, really, really fast. As somebody that served on every RFP committee that this city has ever sent out for the Marina Restaurant Campground, as a person that the commission never took a recommendation that the committee recommended, and whoever was the successful recipient of the commission's blessings to go up there, they never jumped through these hoops before. These hoops are different hoops than anybody has ever had to jump through before. In a week, they would turn the keys over to somebody and let them start doing what they wanted to up there, and the restaurant was open whenever. That's what's concerning me.
Ms. Moss, we've had that conversation already about these new hoops, and we're past that point. We've approved the leases here. We've sent them on. We've had all these conversations about all these hoops that we have to jump through. It's unfortunate. It is what it is. We've had those conversations. Let's move forward. Because the hoops that we jumped through, we've already jumped through them, okay? And the last hoop is getting it approved by the state. That's where we are.
And you may have that this week?
It could have, hopefully it hit our email boxes tonight, and hopefully we can have an update in the morning. Yeah.
You know.
But again, that doesn't stop them from opening the restaurant. They're welcome to go in there and renovate and open up tomorrow. Nothing's stopping them from doing that. Nobody. I want that clear. Don't walk out of here and say the city manager is holding up the process. Okay?
Well, and you know what? If we're live streaming tonight, you just
Thank
told
you.
everybody a wealth of information,
Right.
and that was great.
That's why that's here now. Tell the truth.
Mhm. You know, I love to see how I sit here every commissioner meeting and I see these same faces. And you guys understand and know that I try to be that one that try to be the mediator and try to just keep so much peace. But I understand your frustration. However, please understand, we have so much confidence in him. We're not used to, it's the change part, and we're not used to that. And there are people that came up and they made comments, and I hear certain things that I never heard them speak as such. That's how I know it's frustration. So what I ask of you all, please understand, we have a lot of confidence in him. It's the process. This may be the one, because we didn't jump through those hoops prior to. Now we got to do it the right way. Respect it. I'm sure you guys will do that. And I understand the frustration, but it's just a process we got to go through. And let's see how it works, and try so much to keep the communication going, because I'm sure you guys will do that. I'm sure you are, because you come every meeting and we have the ladies of the lake, certain ones, and that I know that's their gold mine. That's what they pay attention to every meeting, and I don't blame you.
And maybe you should have an agenda item that's a marina update.
Right. We will take that. We will take that, Ms. Moss.
This thing to give the update, so it's right there. So if they can't be at the meeting,
Right.
I couldn't be at the meeting for 2 months. I didn't get to see the signing of the lease.
Right.
I was in the key. So my point is, if you do an update, then it's right there on the meetings, and it's on the internet.
And we're starting that. And this is the first step that I'm assuming we will be starting that. And I understand we do need with more transparency. That way all this confusion won't get out there on Facebook. But again, just please ask them. And I even hear sometimes that they call and they can't get certain questions. Just go and ask before we put it on that Facebook, because it causes so much confusion and frustration on both sides. So citizens, please, I understand. I don't blame you. It's a process, and this process may be a little longer. However, the outcome is well worth it.
Okay, City Clerk, we have any more comment cards?
No, we do not.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving right along, we're coming to our comments, concerns of the city commissioner. Commissioner Mervin.
Good afternoon. I don't have much to say, but there's a scripture that comes in mind to me. Much is given, much is required. And Commissioner Hill said a lot of it. But the thing about it is getting the information and getting the understanding of what's been done is good. Thank you, City Manager, for explaining some of the project, because I had questions, but Chandler knew I would come inside his office and I would ask. Either I'll call him 7 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock at night if I have questions. But the only thing that I have to say now, I won't want the job as a city manager. Because you have to realize, and I take this in consideration. I know I cause them a lot with some complaints, but that's not an easy seat to sit in. When you got almost 6,000 residents, this one's calling about the cemetery. This one calling about the graveyard. This one calling about why we got no jobs. This one calling why we got no housing. This one calling why the street is cracked over here. This one calling why we got no sign. This one dumping the trash on the... When you have to do that, that's a lot. And I know that's his job. That's why he get paid the money that he gets paid. But we also have to take in consideration, what if we were sitting in that same seat? It's not easy. It's not easy. Give your complaints. That's okay. You're going to have questions. But I am one. I always said, take it into the office. Take it into the office and ask your question. Get your answer that you're looking for, and you're done with it. You don't have to publish that. Good night. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Commissioner Murray. Commissioner Hill.
Oh, she's there.
All right, this meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.
Let's go.